Having a small form factor computer case can be great. It takes up less room, it fits on your desk, and overall, it just looks pretty sweet. But there's some things you have to consider before you get one. First off, let's talk about the graphics card. This is a Radeon 7900 GRE from Sapphire, and as you can see, this thing is pretty much bumping up against the end of the case, not to mention all the cable routing and other components that need to fit in there with it. So before you choose your case and graphics card combination, make sure you're checking the measurements on each manufacturer's website, both for the GPU and the case, to make sure your tolerances are going to play nicely in there. Next, let's talk about your cooling solution. This is a Hyper 212 Halo from Cooler Master, and as you can see, it fits in here pretty nicely, but there were some other options that I ultimately had to pass on because they weren't going to fit in the case. So before you make your decision on air-cooled, double air-cooled, AIO, make sure, once again, you're checking the measurements to see if it's going to fit. Last, but certainly least, is the motherboard. For those of you who have built small form factor computers, you know what I'm about to say, but whenever you build a smaller computer, you're going to need a smaller motherboard. And smaller motherboard does not mean cheaper, especially if you're looking for an AM5 socket board. These things can run upwards of $400. If you're going for the smallest, you're gonna pay the most money. So whenever you're looking at which motherboard or which size of case to go with, keep that in mind, especially if you're going for a budget. All that being said, I do genuinely love my small form factor build, and I'm glad every day that I did it. If you're about to set out on building one of these things, just know it's gonna be a challenge, but don't let that scare you off. It might take a few extra trips to Best Buy or arguing with Newegg's customer service, but you'll get there. And when you're done, you're gonna be able to look at something every day that you put blood, sweat, and tears into. And you're gonna be glad that you built it. Isn't that right, buddy?